user Cornwall Manderley on winning the $25 Amazon gift card giveaway for the Jon Snow doll. Please contact me via message with your info. You can do so in the About section of my YouTube channel. If you're like me, these next 10 months are going to be pretty intense. Not to worry though, when filming and casting news becomes available for Game of Thrones Season 7, if you are subscribed to this channel, you will in fact be kept up to date. This video will contain some of my predictions for House Stark in Season 7. Let's start off with Bran Stark. Last we saw, Bran Stark was dropped off yards away from the wall by his undead Uncle Benjen, with Mira Reed by his side. Benjen then of course returned north of the wall to continue his fight with the White Walkers. Bran will likely make it to Castle Black pretty early in the season and send word to Kitten, as I call him, or King of the North. And then we will of course be treated to a super early House Stark reunion with Jon, Sansa, and Bran. Arya will likely meet up with the rest of her family later on in the season. Since last season we saw Howland Reed, I believe... Shit, it feels weird to say last season. But yeah, since we met him for the first time in the Tower of Joy flashback, I believe Bran will likely begin to question Mira about her father's whereabouts. And we might get some answers to where the hell Howland Reed has been for the past couple seasons. He will either do this out of pure curiosity, or he will do it in order to get some sort of extra confirmation on R+L=J. He may ask Mira about this once they get to Castle Black, or once they make it home to Winterfell. I of course mean ask Mira Reed about her father's whereabouts, not the true parentage of Jon Snow. If he doesn't when he gets back home to Winterfell, the reasoning may be that he wants to call on House Reed for support in the wars to come. Jon Targaryen will likely begin his season, prior to getting word of Bran and Mira being at Castle Black, adjusting to his new role as Kitten. We as an audience know that he was meant for greatness and born to be a leader, but he himself does not know so. It shouldn't be too much of an adjustment, seeing as how he's led the Night's Watch, but we will likely get some sort of awkward scenario with Jon, involving Jon, and him being inside Ned and Catelyn's room. I think it's going to be pretty funny. Here's some food for thought, though, about last season. Since we know that Jon has true king's blood running through his veins, was his blood, with it being royal, the only reason why he was resurrected? Don't get me wrong, I do think he is Azor Ahai and the prince who was promised, but Mel does make like 3 seasons of a point to say that the power is in King's blood, or her power is in King's blood, or there's power that lies in King's blood. So perhaps this is the extra juice that Mel needed to restore Jon's life to his body. Her loss in faith plus his King's blood. Sansa Stark will likely be shown making herself at home for the 3rd time in Winterfell. The poor girl has been through a lot. But after this past season, I do believe her internal pity party is done after handing Ramsay his death and being the one to conjure the Deus Ex Machina that won, well, the Knights of the Vale, that helped won Jon the battle. She is quickly becoming one of my personal top favorite 10 to 15 characters. I believe her story may ultimately lead to marriage yet again this season. It seems to be a reoccurring theme for Dan and Dave to make her marry a lot of people throughout the seasons. The difference this time will be that she is the one calling the shots. I mean, like, whatever she says goes. Most likely she will marry Robin Arryn of the Vale. He would be a lot safer of a choice to manipulate, and a way easier target for her to manipulate in comparison to Peter Baelish. Of course, Baelish will attempt to persuade Sansa, but honestly, I don't believe it will work. They made it seem like Baelish might hold a little influence of her from the finale when he gave her that look during the kitten scene, King of the North. But the reason why she hasn't told Peter off yet is because, like I said in my review, her hand of the queen hasn't returned yet, this being Brienne. The scene in which Peter gets his comeuppance, so to speak, will be similar to the scene in which Brienne first met Sansa, or when Sansa was going as Elaine Stone back in Season 5. Baelish will be the one asking for Sansa to come with him or some shit, and Brienne will gladly tell him, fuck off. This will be a great scene. Now, I know I have a lot of subscribers that love Baelish and believe he's one of the best players in the game, but honestly, he ruined a lot of lives and wants to ride a chaos ladder to the top. Sounds like some fuckery to me. I mean, we all have our favorite characters in the Game of Thrones, and we all have our personal favorites who we think play the game very well. I think Baelish plays the game okay. I don't think he's like the best player. I do think he plays it like slimy and greasy. And in my personal opinion, I guess I must be a Stark bannerman, but I prefer honor and doing shit the right way, which is possible. Varys is a perfect example of that. He might connive, but it's to the betterment of the kingdom, not because he wants to rule. You know what I mean? So that's my main problem with Baelish. But like I said, we can all like who we like, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why we have so many cast members to choose from. Lastly, we find ourselves with Arya the Baker Stark. I see her path heading like kind of like a super dark turn this season. Like, she will probably be getting a super dismal type character arc. Don't get me wrong, I love House Stark vengeance just as much as the next guy, but I can see them taking her character and doing something a little bit too far. Like, she could either kill the Hound, who we know is with the Brotherhood Without Banners, and they're headed north, and if he decided to stay with them, they're going to ultimately be helping House Stark, or she could kill Melisandre, and in killing Melisandre, we all know that she brought Jon Snow back to life, and Melisandre might not have the chance to explain that she is a House Stark ride or die now, and she saved your brother. I don't know. I could see that making us think that Arya is going down a dark path. She could actually show us that she's like not willing to be. She's got a warrior spirit, so she might find herself once she gets back home with her brothers and her sisters. She might find out that that kind of life isn't what she's looking for, and she might sneak away from them just to go further get vengeance for House Stark. Like, maybe she finds herself not being able to sleep at night, or just not finding it herself normal. We can find example to this in war veterans who come back from like Iraq and Afghanistan over here in America, and they re-enlist and do multiple tours because when they get home, their home life doesn't feel the same. Like, they're used to being almost blown up and shot at all the time. So when they get back home, it's normal. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like they control, I don't know, just my opinion. I've seen a lot of documentaries on it, but I feel like they can kind of control their own destiny, and that's similar to with Arya. She might not feel like she's in control of her own destiny once she gets back to House Stark. She might see everybody like Jon and Sansa and Bran all focusing on the War for the Dawn, and she's thinking that, yeah, we need to do that. She's never personally seen any White Walkers, but she might be on some shit like, yeah, we also need to get more vengeance for us. And I can just see her character becoming consumed with vengeance this season. On the lighter note, I do believe that since she is in the Riverlands as of right now, she will run into Nymeria and her super pack. I predict Arya will reunite with her direwolf in their super pack. In the novels, there's rumors of Nymeria running around with a super pack of direwolves. George Martin has confirmed this, and I believe we will be seeing Arya using Nymeria and Nymeria's super pack in aid with herself to, of course, wreak vengeance for House Stark. In conclusion, I believe that we will see great things from House Stark in Season 7. I think they will ultimately unite with Daenerys and aid her by having the North claim the throne. It shouldn't be too hard for her. She does have dragons to convince them, and Jon and family will find out what Cersei did. Who am I kidding? The real fucking war is up north and with the White Walkers. Hopefully, they won't put her on some bullshit, spending too much time in King's Landing, and she will make her way up north and start roasting some White Walkers. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please slap a like on this video if you enjoyed it. I want to shoot for 275 likes this video. Of course, you all smashed the last goal of 250. As always, the links for my social media are in the description down below. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and friend me on Facebook. Click the links above for more videos if you would like. And the link on the far right is a link to my Patreon if you would like to become a sponsor. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Reviews.